Hello friends, welcome back to my channel GMAT QUANT 4SL. I hope you have watched my earlier videos on number system in which I have covered topics such as factors, remainders, HCF, LCM, etc. Now, in this video, I would be covering a topic called speed and distance. Speed and distance comes under the topic called algebra, and you can expect at least 5 to 6 questions of algebra in a GMAT examination. And in this 5 to 6, you would be lucky if you get a question from the speed and distance, because speed and distance are very easy to crack, and if you get a knack to solve the question, you can solve the question within seconds also. So it's a question which will give you marks and at the same time will save your time also. This time, in making this video, I would be making a slight change in my strategy. In my earlier videos, I used to start with simple questions first and then move on to the difficult part. But this time, I would be starting straight away with the difficult part. So, the target audience for this video would be the students who want to score 750 plus in the GMAT examination. So, let's discuss the outline of the presentation. The presentation outline would be as follows. The first, I will discuss the concept part related to speed and distance, and in the second part, I will cover up the questions. Now, while solving the questions, I will first explain you what the question wants from you, and then you can pause the video to take your time in order to solve the question. Once you are done with the question, unpause the video and we will go to the solutions. This would be a strategy which we will be using while solving the questions. So without wasting any further time, let's get started with the concept part first and then we'll go to the questions. So let's discuss some of the concepts of speed and distance. Uh, in the speed and distance concept, two or three things I want to share with you. That speed is equal to distance upon time, or I would say time is equal to distance upon speed, or distance is equal to speed into time, and average speed of a journey is equal to total distance traveled divided by total time taken. One more thing which I would like to discuss is that if two people are traveling in same direction, then the distance to overtake would be equal to the gap between the two people, the gap in distance between the two people, divided by the difference in the speed of the people, difference in the speed of the two persons. And if the two people are traveling in opposite direction, means person A is coming from C to D, and person B is coming from D, going from D to C, then in that case, the time taken to meet would be equal to the gap distance divided by the sum of the speeds of the two persons, that is A and B. So these are the very simple concepts which are used in speed and distance problems, and with these concepts I think you can solve almost 100% of the question. So let's come to the second part of the video, that is the questions part. And as I have earlier told you that while solving the question, I will explain you the question first. Then you have to pause the video in order to take your time to solve the question, and then we will cover the solutions part. So the questions are as follows. Now, the first question says that Arun bikes to school every day at a rate of A miles per hour, and on a one particular day his bike tire got punctured and he started walking towards the school at V miles per hour. Now, due to this, the total time taken by Arun to reach school from his home is T hours. Now, you have to find out how many miles is it the school from the Arun's home. Now, let's pause the video here, try to solve the question, and then I will cover up the solutions. Hope all of you have solved this question and write down the answer. The question is very simple, and if I when I will discuss the solution, you will find that this question can be solved within a matter of seconds also. So I discussed both the techniques. In the one technique, I am able to solve the question within seconds, and in the another technique, if you go through a proper technique, then you can solve the question within 30 to 45 seconds also. So let's start. So if you are a science graduate, then you must be clear with the concept of units. That the unit of a distance is either kilometer, meter, miles, or like this. Now, if you go through all the four options, all the five options, then you can find that. And one more thing is that uh, in order to add two things, these two things must be of the same unit. Okay. So going by that philosophy, I can straightly struck down option BDE, in which I am adding time, which is a unit of which is in seconds, to meter per second unit, that is speed. So this way the option BDE can be straightly struck down. Now I am left with option A and C. If I go through the option A dimensions, it come out to be meter per second square, and since I know that dimension of a distance is always kilometer or meter, then this option cannot be true. So the option answer of this question is option C, and this can be only possible if you are clear with the concept of units, and this will only take you almost either 5 to 10 seconds to solve this question. But friends who are not clear with the concept of unit, I would like to solve this question from the normal standard practice also. So the solution would be as follows. Now d is equal to distance from school to home, and t is the time taken by Arun to reach his school. Now this time would be equal to the time taken by him on bike and the time taken by him on foot. Now, as I told you in the concepts also, that speed is equal to distance upon time, and time is equal to distance upon speed, then distance covered on bike divided by speed of the bike and distance covered on foot divided by walking speed will give me the total time, which is equal to t is equal to d by 2x. Now d by 2 because in the question it has been mentioned that half of the distance here traveled on foot and half of the distance here traveled on bike. Now d by 2x plus d by 2y will be equal to a total time t, and this way the d can be calculated, which is equal to 2xy divided by x plus y. Now this is the solution of the problem, that is the option C, again from the arithmetic. From the this time I have solved it from the arithmetic calculations. So it has hardly taken me 10 to 15 seconds maximum to solve the question. So if you are clear with unit, it will give you 7 to 8 seconds to solve the question, and if you are clear with the algebra part, it will hardly take you 20 to 30 seconds. So in this 30 seconds you can actually get a by involving 30 seconds you can actually get a good 700 plus marks question to crack. Now come to the next question. The next question talks about the two people, Abhay and Akshan, who sat together on a bike and they travel at a speed of 15 km and 12 km per hour respectively. Now after 40 minutes, Abhay stops because his bike got punctured, and Abhay took 1 hour to fix the tire. Akshay continues to walk at a speed of 12 km per hour, and the question has asked you how many hours will it take to Abhay to catch up to Akshay, assuming he rides his bike at a speed of 15 km per hour. So again pause the video and take your time to solve the question. Once you are done with the question, please unpause the video in order to see the solution of the problem. I hope all of you have must done with the question, and for those who are couldn't able to solve the question, we will be just discussing the solution of it. And for those who have solved the questions, please note down the option which is the right answer as per you. And in the solution part, we will discuss whether that option is right or wrong. So let's start with the solution. Now, As I told you in the concepts also, that distance is equal to speed into time, and we will try to solve this question in that using that concept only. Now, distance traveled by the Akshay in 1 hour 40 minutes is 12 into 1 plus 2 by 3. 2 by 3 because I have converted the minutes into hour, that is 40 divided by 60, it comes to be 2 by 3. Now, that distance comes to equal to 20 kilometers. Now, distance traveled by the Abhay, who is traveling at a speed of 15 km per hour in duration of 1 hour 40 minutes is 15 into 2 by 3 because 1 hour he has taken to repair his bike. Now, during that 1 hour 40 minutes, he has traveled 10 kilometers total. Now, the total difference between the gap between the Abhay and the Akshay distance in 1 hour 40 minutes is 10 kilometers. Now, as I told you in the concept also, that if the two people are traveling in the same direction, then a time needed for one to meet another or time needed for one to overtake another would be equal to the gap in distance divided by the difference of the speed of the two people. Now, in this case, the gap in distance is 10 kilometers and the speed difference of the speed of the two Abhay and Akshay is 15 minus 12, that is 3 kilometers per hour. So 10 divided by 3 will give me 3.33 hours would be the time that is required for Abhay to overtake Akshay or to meet Akshay. So the option answer of this option is 3.33 kilometer per hour. Now come to the next question of this video, and most probably the last question of this video because the duration would extend to time greater than 15 minutes and it would be difficult for me to load videos greater than 15 minutes. So in this video I would be covering a data sufficiency question. The question is that if a car travels from Delhi to Jalandhar at an average speed of 40 km per hour and then return to Delhi later that evening, what was the average speed for the entire trip? It's a very simple question to solve, and he has given me two options. That the first option says the return to trip took 50% longer than the trip while going from Delhi to Jalandhar, and the second option says that the distance from Delhi to Jalandhar is 165 kilometers. Now you have to tell me whether this question can be answered by using statement 1 or by using statement 2 or by using both the statement or combined or by using one of the by using both the statement independently also, and the last option is that the question cannot be answered even by using both the statements. So again pause the video and attempt the question. Once you done attempting the question, please unpause the video and let's see the question solution afterwards. Hope most of you have sort out with this question and solve the question, and for those who couldn't able to solve the question, I will discuss the solution part. And one thing to say, it's a very easy question compared to the normal questions of the number system on data sufficiency part which you get in the exam. And believe me from the speed and if you get a question from the data sufficiency part on speed and distance, it would be a very easy question to crack. So let's start with the solution. The solution is as follows. Now, as given in option A, that the return trip took 50% longer. Now, let's assume that while going from Delhi to Jalandhar, the total time taken by the car is T1. Now, this T1 is equal to distance between the Delhi and Jalandhar divided by the speed of the car. That is D divided by 40. D is the distance I have assumed from between the Delhi and Jalandhar. Now, the average speed from Delhi to Jalandhar is equal to 40 upon 40 is equal to D by T1. Now, I've been told that while returning, he took 1.5 times longer of than the time he took to travel from Delhi to Jalandhar. So from Delhi to Jalandhar to Delhi time would be 1.5 times of T1. Now, as per the average speed concept formula, which we have discussed in the start, that the total distance traveled divided by total time taken would give me the average speed. Now, the total distance traveled in this case would be d plus d, that is 2d, divided by t1 plus t2. Now, t1 plus T2. D2 is equal to 1.5 times of T1 to give me 2D divided by T1 plus 1.5 T1, that is give me 2D divided by 2.5 T1. So since we know the value of D by T1, which is equal to 40, just replacing D by T1 by 40, I can get the answer of 2 into 40 divided by 2.5, that is 32 km per hour. So the average speed of the entire journey would be 32 km per hour. Thus, the statement A is sufficient to answer the question. Now, I have to check whether the statement B is sufficient or not. If statement B is not sufficient, then the answer of this question would be option A only. So let's discuss the option B also and find out whether it is sufficient enough to discuss or to whether it is sufficient enough to solve the question or not. So let's discuss the option B now. The option B says that the Delhi to Jalandhar distance is 165 kilometers. Now, this information will not give me any information about the time taken or the speed in the second trip. Now, since for to calculate the average speed, I need either the second trip speed or the time taken by the person in his second trip. Now, since both of these are unavailable, therefore it would be uh, impossible for me to calculate the average speed by using the data given in the option B. Now, therefore, the since as I have already done that the option A is sufficient enough to calculate the answer of the question asked, and option B is not self-sufficient to give me the solution of the data or solution of the problem of the question asked. Therefore, the answer of the question is option A only. So I hope you understood the problem, and most of you would have been able to solve the questions also. Now these are the actually 700 plus level of question. In speed and distance you don't tend to find a very difficult question even at the level of 700 to 750 also. So in my next video also I would be also discussing certain more difficult questions related to speed and distance problem only. And in the meantime, if you like this video and if you understood anything from this video, and if you like to see any change about in this video or any of my future videos which are about to come in some days also, do mention in the comment section so that I can work upon the work upon these areas and give you a better video so that it would be better for you to understand the things. So till then, thank you. And if you like the video, please press the like button and do subscribe to my channel, and so that I can get motivated and keep posting the new videos for you in the future also. Thank you. Take care. Good day.